All right, here we go. Evening, everyone. I'll just let a few come on first, a few seconds into the live. Then we'll get the thank yous out there. Right, let's wait for a few guys to come on. Here we go, people coming in. Evening, everyone. Lee Ashby here for Motocross and Speedway Memories. Glad to get you guys on tonight. Got a cracking live interview for you. Just before I do that, I will get my thank yous out there. Big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, investments, mortgages and protection. Check the website at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Also thanks to Luke Gorse of X44 App Solutions. He created my new website that you can check out at www.mxspeedwaymemories.co.uk. Big thanks to Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check all his amazing products at s72gin.com. And lastly, thanks to Tom Brown of Moto Extreme in Marshfield, and also his Moto Part 46 practice track. And I will give you all the details of that later on after we've done the interview. So I'll do that for you guys. Right, everyone coming on. I can see everyone streaming on. Wow, hello everyone. Everyone's messaging. I'm good, thank you. How you doing, guys? Right then, let's get the countdown away. Right, where are we? Here we go. Let's get the countdown going then, people, for this live interview. Hope you're all looking forward to it. I'm sure you are. You've all been buzzing by the sounds of it. Let's get it going. I'm with no other than 10-time world motocross champion, multiple Motocross the Nations winner, won all 3 classes in one day at a GP, 101 GP victories, 5 times Belgian Sportsman of the Year, plus Lifetime Achievement Award. He's won all world titles on all Japanese manufacturers. None other than 10 times world motocross champion himself, Mr. Stefan Everts. How's it going?
Hi guys. Hi Lee.
How are you?
Hi everyone.
Awesome to get you on, mate. Really appreciate your time.
No problem. Anytime.
As we can see, guys, we've got a matching S72 gin hats on. Look, beautiful.
Yeah, you look good with it.
Can't think where I got it from. Right, Stefan, I'll open it up with a couple of questions and then the guys will give me some questions. I'm sure they're going to get going with that. One of them I wanted to ask you was from my friend Vaughan Williams. He was a schoolboy motocross champion. He put, right, these 5 riders in their prime, who would be the top 5? So this is quite a good little opening one. So the 5 riders are Ricky Carmichael, Jeremy McGrath, yourself, Tony Caroli, and Jeffrey Hurlins. So that's the 5. In their prime, what do you feel that the top 5 would be? Let's go with
prime, you mean?
Yeah. All those riders.
That's already a very good pick, good choice of riders. I mean, if we dig into the past of motocross, for sure, João Robert is one of my favorites. I never seen him live racing, but I heard so many great stories. I've seen videos of him. He was one of the best mud riders. But yeah, I mean, there's been many more great riders in the past. And if you look at I think about David Bailey, he was a fantastic rider, a fantastic riding style. Who else we got? I mean, it's been so many to talk about. But I think the pick already it's pretty good with Carioli. He's always been one of my favorite riders to see him race. How he raced, he's been amazing in his top years. I think at the moment he's struggling a bit, and it's coming. Yeah, he just passed his best times. I reckon. You know, I've been there when I was 33, 34. Then I think it's time to retire, also mentally. But I mean, you have a Jeff Hurlings. We know how fast he can go. Yeah. But if you look at Prado for me, he's also a very great rider, especially his technique and how easy he can ride a bike, but also his tactic on the track, how he can ride defensive towards the others. He's very good at it. It's very interesting to watch him.
Who do you actually enjoy yourself personally watching race now? Who sort of excites you when you watch them race?
Well, I mean, what I just said, Carioli has been one of my favorite riders in the past, and you know, now upcoming talents like Tim Geiser and Jorge Prado. He's been since a kid. I've been watching him, and I've worked with him for 1 year at when I had the junior 125 team for KTM. Yeah, I mean, it was obvious for me that he would become a world champion, and for sure he will be able to win many more championships in the future with his talent, technique. I hope he keeps his 2 feet on the ground. Then he will still win a lot in the future.
The question is, will anyone, do you ever think, catch the 10 world titles?
Well, I mean, Tony is coming close.
Yeah.
It looks like this year will be difficult. I mean, Tim has a lot of points in front of Tony. He's only 6 motors to go, so then the championship is done. But I think in the future, for sure, Jorge Prado, he will the coming years, my opinion, he will be the one to beat. So he's already on 2 championships. I think it will go fast for him. So who knows? In the far future, he will be the one who will get close to the 10 championships.
I remember being at the Motocross the Nations at Matterley. That's the actual only time I've been to Matterley, actually. The day you beat James Stewart, the Americans, etc. What do you remember from that day exactly, and your memories of it?
Well, I remember basically everything of it. You know, it was my last big race, my last big international race. A couple of weeks before I did Ernie, my last GP. I was able to win my last GP in my career. So I was undefeated until my last GP, and this feels good. And this is what was my ambition, you know, with my retirement. But then going to Matterley Basin, you know, first of all, Ricky Carmichael was coming out, and then eventually he got injured, and then they sent James Stewart. You know, actually the days and the weeks before, there was so many things happening behind the scenes that no one know. I was dealing with my future. I was dealing with Yamaha, but then that got a bit on a dead end, that deal. And in the last moment, KTM showed up, and Pete Beyer was sitting at my apartment in Monaco, and we was talking about the future of KTM and how I would see it. And for me, this was like a new challenge, you know, going into retirement. A lot of the past heroes, they always told me that the worst part of the career is coming when you retire. You will fall into the black hole, and then it's going to be difficult to really find back a new life. So I tried to fill up the black hole, doing something new. And KTM, for me at that moment, especially in those last weeks before Matterley, was going on the table, and we talking and discussing. So this was my new challenge in life, but Yamaha was not so keen to do this announcement on Saturday evening on the Nations, the biggest race of the year, where all the press from all the world is there. But I pushed it through, and I said, I'm doing this. This is my future also. I was basically talking to Yamaha for more than 1 year, what we're going to do together. And eventually, what they offered me was not the most interesting thing for me. So, you know, then KTM came, and I said, I'm going to go for that. Anyway, Matterley Basin was a very stressful race, not just for the nations race, but more for my future. And the fight between Yamaha and KTM to do this announcement on Saturday. Mr. Pierre flew in with a private jet from Austria to do this announcement, this press conference. And everyone was in shock when I decided to go to KTM and do this new challenge. So beside that, I had to go and race the nations against everybody, and I did great. Saturday was a difficult day for me, but on Sunday I turned things around and I was at my best. So it was a fantastic race. And like Vauxhall in '98, I did another one in England in Matterley Basin, in a historic race that fans in England or all the world, they remember two things, and that's Vauxhall when I drove up the hill in the mud where everybody got stuck, and Matterley Basin where I passed Stewart on the footpegs around the outside on the most difficult turn.
Beautiful it was. Even I did an interview with Rob Herring the other day, and he said like he was watching and quite a few was watching, and he said he went out to, you know, obviously he's looking at the techniques and looking at specific things, being an ex-pro himself, and he said like seeing you standing up on the pegs going round faster than Stewart and all them sort of guys with a leg out and everything, he was saying it was amazing, smoothest thing he's ever seen.
Yeah, I know the style that I've developed. This was something I had in me as a young kid, but I have to say, mid '90s, some of my friends invited me to come and ride trials biking and do some free riding.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I do it and have some fun with the bike and relax and just go, free riding where you never been, and single tracks and going up to hills and hill climbing and stuff. So say, okay, I do it. So I enjoyed it so much that I in the mid '90s towards, I think all through my career from that stage, I continuously ride trials biking a lot, but that developed my riding style on the motocross bike even more, because on trials bike you never can sit down, you always have to stand up and get that balance. So this actually developed my style on the bike even more, and so I started to ride more on the foot pegs, and even I rode more on the foot pegs and I was sitting down. But actually this was without knowing. I did that with having fun with my friends who invited me going riding or trails riding or trail bike riding, whatever you can call it. So it was fun.
Right, so it wasn't even intentional at the start, it sort of developed into that a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it was there from the beginning, but because of doing that, it just got even better and better.
Okay, brilliant. I've got questions coming through from the guys now. So I've got one here from Gareth Edwards. He's put the smoothest racer ever. Could you please ask him what changed on the early factory alloy framed CR250 to feel comfortable on it and win?
Well, I left Kawasaki in '95 to go to race Honda HRC, and the official bikes went to RWJ, Colin Reed at the time. I just wanted to be on that Honda, and '96 was an extremely difficult year. I managed finally to win the championship, but then we got a big change. So I came from the most best developed bike, which was the '96 Honda HRC. You must think that was. I stepped on that bike when I tested it in Spain, and the engineers asked me, "What do you want to change?" I said, "Nothing. Bike is good." So it was my first ride ever on the HRC factory bike, and it's like, that's it, let's go racing. I was ready. But then '97, this new aluminium chassis frame Honda CR250 was coming, and McGrath just pulled out the Honda deal just before the Supercross season started off, but I couldn't do that. This was also not my style, and we had our commitments, and Dave Grant was at the time also very much involved in the whole situation. So I just stepped on the bike and I struggled, especially the first four GPs of the season. I struggled a lot to understand this bike and how I have to race it, especially going into turns. This bike was very rigid, so it would push you actually more out of the turns to be able to turn it off. So after four GPs, I managed to adjust my riding style a bit to the handling of the bike, and then I actually started to I mean, to win and to do some good races. So at the end of the season, I win my title in Gdansk in Poland, like 4 GPs from the end. So I win 9 GPs in '97. I did one of my best seasons so far, even with the worst bike I had, but I did it. You know, it's just as a rider, you sometimes need to be able to adapt to things, and I think now these days a lot of the young guys, they don't want to adapt to any bike. They have to say the bike needs to adapt to me.
Yeah.
But I was more the rider that say, okay, this is the bike I have. I cannot change it in 2 weeks or in 2 months. This is impossible. This development takes some years. So I'm the one who has to adapt to it to be able to make the results. And I did. So I was able to manage with winning with not the best bike out there. I was still able to win. And that's because I adapt to the bike and not the bike to me.
Do you think as well, because I know that you are a mentally strong rider, obviously, do you think that helped, that your mental preparation, the way you were, helped with that as well?
Well, at the time, '97, I was coming for RWJ, and in '97 we started our own team with Dave Grant, and we had our HRC backup. So in that period, I started to go on the cloud. So I was full of confidence in everything, and Dave was even supporting that. So he made it even worse for me. So I was so strong mentally that I was able to do anything with any bike or any competition, whatever. So I was maybe too overconfident, but I still did it, and I did another championship. So that was my hat trick. I did 95, 96, and 97, my first hat trick. So I even got more confidence after 97.
Yeah, for sure. I've got another question here from Simi Stock. He's put, what was his favourite bike he raced? And please tell me it was a two-smoker.
Well, I have two favorite bikes, and one of them is a two-smoker. That was the 96 Honda, what I just talked about. I stepped on it, and it was good. And
beautiful.
my last Yamaha in 2006. I mean, I had the same feeling with that. But I was a bit afraid because my feelings said so many good things, so many positive things about this bike when we start riding it and testing it in autumn, because we always did some autumn races just to set up the bike for next season already with Rinaldi. And that 2006 Yamaha also gave me such a good feedback that I was a bit afraid that it was true, because I had some good feedback in the past and it didn't turn out to be the best one when I went racing with it. And I had the same with the 2006 Yamaha, and I just waited until the next season. So all winter I trained so hard because it was my last season and I wanted to reach this 10 championships and these 100 GP wins, that I said I gotta train harder than what I ever did before. And we will see how the bike would turn out, but it was the best bike. So the 96 Honda and the 2006 the 96 Honda and the 2006 Yamaha was for me the best bikes out there.
What did you think of the difference between the two-stroke and the four-stroke then? How did you prefer either one when you changed over?
I enjoyed riding both of them. It's just a different way of riding them. With a four-stroke, I mean, the early days of the four-strokes was still different than when you have the bike now, the four-strokes from these days. But yeah, I mean, it's different. It's just completely different, and it's sometimes hard to explain exactly how it is. But a 250 for a two-stroker revs more than a four-stroke, but a four-stroke has good torque, has more engine brake. Two-stroke have less engine brake. So yeah, this changed a bit of riding, but I enjoyed so much riding the four-stroke especially that 2006 season, but also two strokes. So both 50-50.
Again, back to the adapting.
Yeah.
Right, I got a question from Lee Montgomery. He's put, "Hi Lee, can you ask Stefan who his toughest opponent ever was?" Ooh.
Well, I had many opponents, and that was starting from Donny Schmidt, Bob Moore. I mean, I had Greg Albertine. The 90s, the 250 years in the 90s were great. We had a lot of competitors back then, but the one who standed out was Tortelli, especially in the 98 season. 97, it was his first year on the 250. He crashed a lot, and yeah, nothing went his way. But then 98, he was a very, very strong competitor, and I always had in my back mind, sooner or later he will make the mistake, but he didn't do it that year.
Yeah.
That year he just kept going and going and going. It was him winning, or it was me winning, or it was him second, or it was me second. So there was not a lot of winning or gaining.
Fine line.
The championship was always between 3 and 10 points. I just had the bad luck in Brazil, where they took my 11 points away because I crashed in the start and my silencer or my pipe was broken. So I continued riding, and then Kawasaki protested me, and they took away my 11 points, and those points I needed really much on the end. So at that time, this was the rule, the FEM rule, but for me, this was a lost championship, and the FEM took it away from me.
Very disappointing, that one. I've got two questions very similar here. Philip Johnson's put, did you ever fancy racing in the World Enduro Championship? And then John Nichols also put, please ask Stefan about riding the ISDE. Did he enjoy the experience, and did he ever consider a career extension in the Enduro? So both basically about the Enduro and your experience about that, and did you ever consider that as well?
No, it was not really or never my intention to move over to Enduro. It was thanks to Adservice, my sponsor for many years, who was organizing the 6 days, usually somewhere in South America. Because Franco from Franco Adservice, he always liked it to go to South America and organize the 6 days there. For many years he did that. And when I was back on their team, he asked me already a year in advance, I want you to turn up on the 6 days, 2003. And I agreed on it. So I had a fantastic year in 2003 because I was doubling the GPs from MX2 to MXGP. And then I was winning both classes. So, and then I did the 6 days for the first time in my life. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to change a rear tire and a front tire and a filter in 10 minutes time. So it was a big mission, to get this under control in 10 minutes. But I did it, thanks to Johan Boone, who was my coach, how to do all the things, and also Walter from Adservice back then. They all stood on my side and coached me how to do it. So I was practicing in the morning, I was practicing in the evening, just to get down under the 10 minutes to do a front tire change, a rear tire change, and a filter change in 10 minutes. So it was a great time. We went to Fortaleza in Brazil. We was riding over the beaches. People were laying sunshine on the beach, and there was a 6-day enduro passing by, like 500 riders. It was crazy. You cannot imagine this happening in Europe, but in Brazil it was just normal. So it was a fantastic year, but also a fantastic 6 days, because I'd never expect to go there and win the overall scratch. I did the overall scratch, the scratch from my class, but also the overall scratch from all the categories. So it was a fantastic memory, fantastic time.
Awesome. I'm just going to let everyone know about my new competition I got here. As you can see, got a beautiful shirt here. Might know who that belongs to. Mr. Stefan Everts there. It's the Western Beach race one.
You sure is that mine?
I think I've messaged you this, Stefan, about that's your signature there on the back of this shirt.
Yeah, that's my shirt from Western Beach.
Western Beach,
race.
So yeah.
I don't know, was it 2007 or 8?
Yeah, around there, wasn't it?
I don't. It was after my retirement, or was 2006.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which year it was, but that number, you see all the flags in it. So
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Service designed it for me especially. So it's got all my GP wins in my number. So starting from 91 with the 1 to 5, and then go all the way to the end. So it's got the flag, the which class I was racing, and I mean the country flag where I won the GP. So it's a very cool, cool design.
Yeah.
Well, it's from Western. I've won that race 2 times. That was also great fun. I enjoyed that time, with all the riders going to the start line, pushing, and it was a mission to get to the start line, and then it was a mission to get to the finish. But I enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
So even my other half, who doesn't really know too much about motocross and the famous stars, even when I showed her this, even she was impressed. So
it's an awesome shirt. Service back then did a fantastic job to put me in a really cool gear, and especially with those nice designs. They also designed my number, the 72, that I'm still using, but also that flags and that number
in the name as well. Yeah, like the Belgian flag into the name.
Yeah, now a lot of riders are doing the same, but I mean, actually back then I was one of the first ones, and thanks to a service.
See, look, they're copying now, Stefan.
You're on the gin, I'm on the water.
Yeah. So yeah, basically the people can go for this prize of Stefan's shirt from Western. So obviously I'll give all the guys the details once Stefan's finished with the interview. So I'll get back to you all on that, guys. Next question I got from Ben Piggin. He's put, did Stefan ever have the offer to go and ride in America for factory Honda as McGrath's teammate?
No, not as Honda, but as Suzuki.
Okay.
I had actually my intention was to go to US already early 90s, because we all know that during the late 80s we had so many supercrosses popping up in Europe, and so I started racing end of the 80s. So I grew up with the supercrosses in the wintertime, and then summer we was full on GPs, and then supercross, and then again. So I did that for 5 years. So I said, okay, 91 I win the 1 to 5 championship. 92 I move up to the 250, and I already had serious plans to go to US and race supercrosses back then. And Suzuki backed me up, because I moved up to the 250 class in 92. Plus, I went to USA to do 6 supercrosses. My first one was Houston, and I did Charlotte, Daytona, San Diego, Anaheim. So that was a fantastic experience. And this was actually, the how you say, the first experience to go over the next year. And I supposed to win the 92 to 50 world title, and then I would move up, but that didn't happen. So I got injured. In 93 I got second. 94 I got second again. So I just kept pushing my my plans forward. So finally I win my championship in 95. And then I was 23 years old, and also a little bit with the influence from Dave Grant, I decided to stay in Europe and not move to America. Because in 3 years' time, some things has changed. It was already 3 years ago that I was in America doing some supercrosses. So that idea got put to the side, and I was going to focus on winning more championships in Europe. That I came to the point in 2000, or end of 99. I came back from the injury, a knee injury, and we raced at Butts Creek. I didn't win the GP, I got second. But after that GP, Roger de Coster, he contacted me, and he offered me a deal to go and race the nationals for Suzuki back in 2000. But again, Dave Grant came involved, and he had so much influence still on me that we had that Husky deal came to us, multi-deal with a lot of money for 3 years, plus a sponsor. So we had a lot of things going on. And then we went testing with the Husky, but I said, yeah, I can do it on any bike, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it on the Husky. No way, not with that bike. But I tried it, so I ended up again in the hospital without agreeing going to America to the Coaster and doing the national. So yeah, I mean, you come always in life, you come to certain how you say turning points. You go left or right, and when you decide to go left, this is happening, and when you go right, so I decided not to go to US back then and stayed in Europe, and eventually I think it was the right decision. I ended up with 10 championships and more than 100 GP wins. So I'm happy with that, you know. Sometimes people ask me, you don't regret not having a championship in US, but no, that's the choice I made back then, and I'm still happy with it until this day.
Brilliant. Got a next question. Darren Merrifield. He's put, can you ask Stefan, should there be an age limit on what size bike you can ride in a GP?
I think right now the age limits that they put on there are quite good. I was a couple of years ago, I wasn't agreeing with the EMX 250 to have it more open and not have an age limit. But I think now is like having older riders coming into the class to develop young riders to put the level high to go up to MX2. I think it's a good way. I mean, you gotta have to give tough competition to become better. And when the 1 to 5, I agree, that's until 18 years. This is actually a youth class. You have to keep that. And the MX 250, I think it's good that it's open, but MX2 World Championship is good. It's limited until 23. If you win a championship, you can defend it, and then you have to move up. So I think this is all. I think the rules at the moment are good on that side of age limits.
Okay. Next one I got, someone's put, hey, what is Stefan's favourite track and conditions? Got no name on that one though.
You know, at the end of the day, when you can find your way around the track and you can find your rhythm and your pace at any track can be good, can be fine. But it's always the way to find your way around each track to each type of dirt, because I've raced so many tracks in all my life, but every dirt gives you a different feeling on the bike, and you have to adapt to it. And I come back to the early questions before. What I've said is, like, as a rider, you need to learn to adapt to any circumstances. And if you don't be able to do that, forget of your dream to become a champion. These champions, they can adapt to any kind of situation, to any kind of dirt, whatever. If you can't do that, you will never be a champion.
We might be actually doing a reunion meeting, depending on obviously this virus stuff. We might be getting a reunion meeting in the UK, and it could be at Fox Hill. Imagine Mr. Everts doing a little victory lap around Fox Hill.
Yeah, that's my girl going to bed now.
Good night.
I mean, Fox Hill was one of my favorite tracks. You know, that track always gave me some extra magic. At some point, I used to call it Everts Hill, so it was cool. It was cool to have a track named by you. But anyhow, Fox Hill was fantastic. You know, there were legendary GPs. You know, with the atmosphere that the English fans can bring to a race. That's you can find nowhere in the world. And I think it was '98. We had the GP there. It was one of the hardest battles that I had with Tortelli, jumping down the hill next to each other and passing 5 times a lap, whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the things I remembered was that the beer tent on Sunday morning wasn't there anymore. So on Saturday it was a big beer tent on the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
And Sunday morning, actually Saturday night going to Sunday, I hear helicopters flying by and police, and was just like it was Miami Vice. And the next morning I wake up and where's the beer tent? Oh fuck, the beer tent's gone. It was put down to the floor. So the fans they were partying so hard that they put down
Oh
the
my
beer
god.
tent. That was such a funny story. I
Yeah.
keep telling that to some of the friends that I know, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's only possible in England.
Yeah. Madness. Absolute madness. Yeah. And it was literally 10 minutes from my house. So it's so cool to see all you legendary guys there, literally down the road. It was amazing. But yeah, special memories for sure. And hopefully one day, even if you had a roll round as a victory lap, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but then the fans need to turn up. You know, if there's no fans like it was in the '90s, then I'm not coming. Sorry.
I think I could get the fans there if I can say that you're coming.
If the fans are there, I'm coming.
All right, okay, well we can sort that out.
If you come down the bend, the right
Yeah,
hand bend, and then we go down the straight with all the tables, and then you
yeah,
hear the horns from the
yeah.
fans. It's like you don't hear your bike anymore. You hear
I,
nothing, only the horns and the fans. I'm coming.
yeah, that'd be perfect. I reckon we could do that. Get the old air horns out again. That'd be amazing. All right, we'll get into that anyway at a later date. Richard Myrams is put. Do you still talk to Mikhail Pishon? And can you remember the close race you had when you lost the spokes from your front wheel? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I still remember our battles. And when I lost my spokes was in I think 2003 in Valkenswaard. We had a really hard battle there, and I banged them pretty hard going down the hill, and then we had this left hand turn, and I just went into the side of him, but I hit him so hard that my front wheel went into his foot peg and
Oh
broke
yeah.
my spokes. And then we went up, and then he came down the hill, and he made this risky pass. He jumped, on top of that berm there, and then he just blocked me out. But I felt straight away that something was wrong on my front wheel. But at that moment, he was the better one. I was struggling with arm pump, and it's not an excuse, but I tried to put him back, but eventually, yeah, my spokes broke. I went into the pits, and they changed my front wheel. I still finished, I don't know, 11th or 12th. So I just struggled those first 3 GPs of that season a lot with pressure, and I was trying too hard and putting, yeah, I mean, just trying too hard, so it just would block me. But anyhow, those battles with Pishon, they were good. I think some of the hardcore fans remember when I threw my goggle at him. I was pretty pissed in South Africa on him. But these days we don't talk so much anymore. I had Zach, his son, in the Suzuki team some years ago, and it was a tough situation with Mikhail there. I think Zach is a really good kid. I think he has a great talent of riding a bike, but I think with that situation with Mikhail, how he takes care of all that, I don't think it's working out for Zach at the moment. And I mean, he's nowhere at this time, and I still believe he was a great talented rider. That's why I also wanted him on our Suzuki team in 2017, because this kid had some potential.
Oh, very interesting. Lost his way a little bit then at the minute. I've got a question here from John King. He put asked #72 his thoughts on JC, which I'm number 6 is Josh Coppins beating him at Desert Martin. Is that the season where you nearly went undefeated the whole season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was. So what was your thoughts on that? So it was just the one Grand Prix at Desert Martin, then, was it?
Yeah, it was a bummer. It was
Yeah, very bad.
somewhere a big disappointment for me. I
Mm.
think when you see the picture of the podium, you still see my disappointment on my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Josh had something big in the pocket there, especially in the second moto. Even in the first moto, I just made it to the finish line in front of him, but he was already very strong in that first moto. So second moto, I tried in the beginning, but at one point I had to let off. What I remember from that period I think 1 week or 2 weeks before I won my 10 championship in Namur, and I was super busy, like the weeks before with press media. So already it took more energy of me, but okay, Namur I still could manage to do it, and then even after winning the 10 championship, the weeks after, I was very absorbed by media and press, and I couldn't rest enough. I couldn't train properly enough. So I knew that it would come a setback. I would become a bit less. And this happened in Ireland, where I supposed to win my 100 GP, which didn't happen. Josh had a fantastic day. He rode fantastic whole weekend. So nothing against him. It was just the whole situation. Plus, Josh was at his best, I think, all season. So I just didn't manage to win that GP. But okay, I still did my 100 GPs, the GP after in Lierop. So for me, that was a very important goal to reach.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing goal as well. All right. James Stanton's put, hi, Stefan. What happened with the Suzuki race team deal?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big bummer. Yeah, I don't know. Suzuki just decided that they would retire from racing, from MX racing. So, I took over the team from Gabors, and I didn't want to follow his way. I had my own thoughts and my own way of dealing how I wanted to work with the team, and I think in 1.5 years I was able to turn around a lot of things. We did a lot of work, hard work behind the scene. Maybe not everyone have seen it, but Suzuki didn't like it, and they had other plans. And normally Japanese people, they plan way in advance, but with Suzuki they just turned from one to the other way, and this was a bit strange. Plus the relationship with Gabors after 1 year wasn't that great anymore, because I changed too many things and he didn't like it. And Gabor still had a lot of influence in Japan. I don't know and how much and how big it was, but at the end of the deal, the thing is that what I've done was not good enough for the Suzuki Japan. So they decide to retire, or they had it in mind before. I don't know. For me, it's still a big question mark. But it was a very hard period for us, also for my wife Kelly, because we both went into this team. We went in there for 100% with our effort. I mean, we put our kids a bit on the side, and then it ended up with a big bummer. So it took us quite some time to deal with it in our minds and to get overcome all this. So yeah, and then the next thing hit us. That was the malaria thing. So we just went from one to the other disappointment. So our last years has been very tough as a family.
How is that now? I know obviously you've had some more operations. How are you now? How is that?
Yeah, I had I think 5-6 weeks ago, I had some small surgeries on my heels,
Yeah.
because my
Yeah.
heels they still had some open wounds.
Mm-hmm.
So they eventually they improved. On my right foot, the wound is basically closed now,
That's good.
and on my left foot it's still open, but it improved also. So the pain, especially in my right foot, also improved slightly. It's better than it was before. So there is hope that things keep improving to the future, but it's still gonna take a few more years.
Okay, fingers crossed on all that. So that sounds like it's moving in a positive direction. That's good. Good
Yeah.
to hear. Next question I got from Adam Pryor. Hi, Stefan, in brackets, God. What do you think of sidecar motocross, and have you ever fancied a go?
What's Sidecarcross?
You know the sidecars where they got the rider
A
and the passenger?
sidecar.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
sidecar,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, sidecar. Well, somewhere in the 90s, Werner de Wit, he had a sidecar, and like after the season, we used to play around with some things. So I tried the sidecar, and it was quite fun to do. So we did some mechanic race, like in the amateur federations in Belgium. They used to do like a mechanic race at the end of the season. So we decided to do some mechanic race with a sidecar. So we had one year, I don't know which year it was, but we had some fun with it. Um, but I mean, I never took it seriously to do more in that direction. You know,
yeah.
motocross has been my main ambition always. So I did. I mean, the trials riding and some sidecar. So, but that was more for fun.
Okay, cool. I've got a question from YouTube. Is there any from Darren Mills? Is there any chance of Stefan working with the authorities to try and bring back Namor for the MXGP?
The what? The Breton?
For the Namor, Namor,
Ah, Namur.
Namir, yeah, how you pronounce it, Namir, yeah. What do you
Ah,
think of the chance of that ever happening? Can't see that, can you?
I think this is nearly impossible. I
Yeah.
was last summer. I posted a photo on Instagram. You know, every summer we do our cycling holiday with our friends, and this year we passed Namur. So I wanted to go up to the Citadel and see how it was after so many years. But you know, it has changed. It has changed a lot. So when we come normally out of the forest back on the Citadel, there's a big building now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for tourists. They are trying to attract more tourists to Namur,
Right.
and there they've put a big building. I don't know what's inside. They were still working on it to finish it. So if we would come out of the forest, we would jump straight into a building. So it was like, okay,
Yeah, that's
I think
awkward.
that's
Yeah.
it. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
it. No more Namur. I was also still hoping that maybe one day, who knows, we can bring back Namur. But
Mm,
seeing that, you
yeah.
could maybe change the track a little bit around, but it would never be the same.
Nice. And Andrew Stinton's just put as well. Your 98 there. What does that rate for Stefan in his wins?
Well, I mean, this is one of that weekend when I did the wild card in
Mm,
Namur. Is still one of my favorite ones.
yeah.
I've got a lot of favorite races that I have in my mind, but Namur
Yeah.
98, my first 500 World Championship race, and
Hmm.
also my first time in Namur was for sure one of my highlights in my career. I didn't know what to expect, and on Saturday when I did my first free practice, it was a nightmare. I was like, "What the hell is this?" You know, so many trees coming coming towards you, and you go into the darkness of the woods, and then you come back on the Citadel. It's so light. So
Mm,
there's so many other things that you don't have on normal tracks. So a lot of things came towards me, and I was like, oh, what is this, but then second practice went better, and time practice already went good, and then Sunday I just smoked everyone. So
beautiful.
at the end,
Beautiful.
Namur has been one of my favorite tracks because it was so difficult. It was so technical. It had
Mm.
so many extra things that other tracks don't have, and that's always been my challenge, to be technical and
Suited you, yeah.
to how to ride your bike at the best at any kind of track with all the obstacles that you have. This is for me, yeah, the interesting thing about racing motorcycles, motocross. And these days, tracks are getting too easy in some way, because when they build the tracks on parking lots and whatever, they always look the same for me. You got the same jumps, you got the same bumps. I mean, everything comes back. And back in the days, and especially a track like Namur, yeah, I mean, so many other things comes in there. You have to be really good to be able to deal with all those things and to be the fastest guy on the track.
Right, I've got a Richard John Reed. He's put, Stefan, in 2004, you flew into Namibia for a photo shoot in the sand dunes. Did you enjoy that, and will you ever come to visit us again?
Yeah, I mean, I remember that trip. Back then, we had the sponsorship from Philip Morris, L&M, and they used to do like some kind of trip. We went 1 year to South Africa, 1 year to Namibia. So we went to the dunes of Namibia, and we traveled a bit through the country just to do photo shoots. We had some media with us, so it was a really fun trip, and especially doing a photo shoot in the dunes. We went to some local track somewhere. It was a great time, yes, for sure. One day, if I have the chance, I'll be back. Why not?
Brilliant. Yeah, I think I've seen some of the pictures. They were really cool.
Yeah, you have the pictures with the white sand. That was in South Africa.
Yeah.
That was close to what's Table Mountain? What's anyway, it was South Africa, and then when you have the brown dunes, that was Namibia.
Actually, I might be able to find that. What's this one? Let me get it up. I'm sure I've got the picture of this here.
Cape Town, South Africa. We went to Cape Town, and close to Cape Town. Yeah, this is Namibia.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. But then when you find it back with the white sand or the white dunes, it's South Africa.
South Africa.
That was close to Cape Town. There's one spot, and that spot apparently from space, this one stands out really, really sharp, because when the sun shines on that white sand, reflects so much. But when we drove there, and we did the photo shoot, you couldn't see the heights because it was so sharp. The light was worse when you go into the snow. Snow is very sharp to you, but the dunes was even more, because the sand is like glass. And when the sun shines on it, it was like, oh, where's the hill? Where's what? Even when you had dark lenses on, it was very hard to see. So it was very, very tiring for the eyes.
Quite an experience then, that was, then.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got a message from Adam Pryor saying, can Stefan please give a big shout out to Gav Richmond, who's a massive fan? Can you give a shout out to Gav Richmond, please, Stefan?
What's a Gav?
Gav Richmond.
Gav Richmond. Hey, Gav Richmond. Hi, how are you? All good? Gav Richmond. Now I see it. Yeah, my eyes getting worse. How are you doing, man?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling out.
Yeah, love that. Thank you.
You're doing good.
He's a good lad. He's a very good lad. He used to race with me as well. YouTube, I got one now. He's put, can you ask Stefan if he has mastered playing the drums yet, and what type of music is he influenced by?
The drum, I will never master the drum, not like I did my bike. I wish I could. Yeah. Then I would not be sitting here. I would playing in my band now. But I've tried for several moments in my life, and actually 10 years ago, no, less than 10 years ago, I had a private drummer who came and give me private lessons every week. So I gave it another go, and I don't have that feeling, not that feeling when I step on a motorcycle, and it feels so natural to me, and I'm like bam, 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 bam. And sitting behind the drum kit is like I have to think too much, and I hit parts, and it's no, it needs to come naturally. So I've
Yeah.
tried hard. You know, I dream of it, but not in this lifetime. So unfortunately, I will stay a big fan of music.
Yeah.
It's a big passion of me. Um, I love all kinds of music. You can
Okay.
listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Monday
Yep.
night at 8
Yep.
o'clock on
Yep.
Radio Benelux. So
Mhm.
if you go to www.radiobenelux.be, you can go to the what is it, Mix iCloud, or you can
Oh yeah,
download.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can listen to my program. So since May 11th, I'm doing every week 1 hour of playlists, and I tell a story about my career and my life, and
Mhm.
in English and also in Dutch. So even for the English people, there's an English version of my
Ah,
story plus my playlist from every week.
there you go. Look, so everyone in England, you can check that out as well. So there's an
Yeah,
English version of that. Next one I got is Darren King. He put, "Do you think your son Liam will be world champion?"
I hope so. That's what we're working for. That's what he's working for.
Yeah.
He's got a big passion for the motocross, like I did. I just
Yeah.
see him like I was in my young age. He's exactly the same like I am, but he's he's developed way more than I was. You know, kids these days are much smarter than we were,
Yeah.
and that's caused also big time through social media, but
Yeah.
also how we grow our kids up as parents. We
Mhm.
also got smarter than our parents was. Um, I hope he will become one day. He's at least trying really hard. Unfortunately, this year he was unlucky in Faenza when
Yeah.
he crashed. It was not his fault. We
Mhm.
had a technical problem, and
Yeah.
it's a bummer to see him because I felt really sorry for him.
Mm.
You know, 2018 went wrong in Australia on the 85 when he DNF'd in the second moto. So it's the second time in a row that we missed our chance, and not cause of his fault, but of course of a technical problem. So
Mm.
I guess that's the way motocross is, and
Mm.
sooner or later, hopefully his luck will change. I mean, he's on a good way. He's got a good potential, and for sure, like I said, the passion is there, and the ambition is very high. The effort is very high. I don't have to push him. I don't need to kick his ass and tell him go train, or go running or cycling or do your motos. I
Mm.
mean, he he's great on that. So he's a fantastic son, and just we need a little bit more luck on his side.
Mm. Yeah. So can you give us an update on him? How is he now? How is the injury? Is it he'd be getting to ride soon, and what's the situation at the minute?
I mean, yeah, he had after Faenza, he had
Mm.
5 weeks. He had a cast on, and then after 5 weeks, it should come off. But then
Yeah.
the doctor said, okay, it's not in a good position. We have to break it again and make a surgery, put a plate on it. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a big, tough moment for him mentally.
Mm.
Again, another setback. So they did operation. Then we had a bit of problem straight after, but it all came good. So I think now Monday, another 2 weeks, the cask will come off, and then you will need another 2 to 3 weeks to build up the strength in his wrist. And probably somewhere beginning December, we will be back on the bike and start to build up slowly. I think we don't need to give it a high rush now, because also with the corona situation is getting
Mm.
extreme in Belgium. Hospitals are getting over full with patients. So
Mm.
we already have a quite big lockdown. I think it's gonna get only worse the next days. So maybe we cannot even start riding in December. So that's
Mm.
still a big question mark. Uh, and what about next season? When we gonna start a new season? I hope somewhere in May, June, but who knows? It's maybe again July.
Mhm. Well, after doing the interview with Liam, he seems to be a lovely young man, so he's doing you proud.
Yeah, I mean, as a parent, we try to raise him in a proper way and with his 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be in the footsteps of his father and his grandfather. So
Yeah.
he got already a lot of support at a young age and a lot of attention and all the things.
Yeah.
So I think it's even more our job as a parent to keep him down on his 2 feet and try to act and stay normal and work hard and respect all the things that has been done for him. So this is very important for us to keep that in his mind.
It was interesting what you just said as well, because obviously when I spoke to your dad last week, he was sort of, we were talking about how hard he pushed you with the hard work and all that dedication side of things. And like you said, so Liam doesn't need too much pushing. He's sort of doing it off his own back. He's got that work rate and that commitment, determination to do it himself and knows what to do.
Yeah, he is. He's a bit different than me.
Mm.
When I started racing, I didn't know how to run for 30 minutes. For me, this is all new. I don't need to tell him he's 16 now and he's doing a 1 hour run or 1 hour 10-minute run, or you go cycling 2 hours. Or I mean, I couldn't do that when I was 16. For me, I was still building up, but um, I had a trainer next to me. Okay, I'm coaching him and I'm guidelining him, do this and do that, but I don't need to stand next to him and run with him or cycle with him. When I tell him do this, he will do it. He will do it by himself. So, and this is a big difference than when I started up training. I had some guy next to me, Willy Linde, who was also the trainer of my father. He came to my door every day. We went running, we went cycling, we did the gym.
Yeah.
And William is a different generation. So
Yeah.
I'm now working on his winter program, and I show them, oh, that's good, I like this. It's a structure. I know what to do every day. That's what he wants. I don't need to stand next to him and tell him, oh, come on, a little harder, a little faster. Then he says, shut up, go away. He doesn't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's doing it himself, so that's brilliant. You can just mentor in the certain situations. I've got a Mike Turner. What was you thinking as you went round the outside of James Stewart at Manly Basin?
I was nothing thinking, I was just going, I want to win this race.
Yeah.
Just want to get in front and go, No, what goes through your mind? That thing just happened. How it happened, you are racing and you're just not planning. 2 laps before I'm gonna make that pass and that off camber there. Everything just the race is just turning around. Sometimes it can turn around really quick. When someone makes a mistake, you can make an easy pass. Sometimes not. And that pass on Stewart there, I was just behind him and he just went on the inside. But when you see the shots of him, he just sat down into the bumps and the bike was going left to right. I mean, he had no speed going into the turn where I stood up and my bike just floated through the bumps and the lines. It was easy, but it was not something that I planned two laps before. It was just like, yeah, race is hard to plan.
And then I think that's all he saw of you after that, Stefan.
Yeah, that's all he saw, the back of me. And the people and the crowd.
The crowd was good there as well. The atmosphere was
It's the
amazing.
biggest crowd I ever raced for. I did the Supercrosses in 92 and I had crowds from 60, 70,000, but Mentally Basin just went over that.
It's really cool that I've been to those ones because that's the only time I ever went to Matley as well. Was that your last meeting there? So that was quite cool as well. Definitely. Yeah. Someone said Daniel Marsh broke the beer tent, so I think they're still talking about the Fox Hill thing. Right, here we go. Patrick. Pat Stott has put, tell Stefan the 90s motocross page has something planned for the future. Have you seen that on social media?
I think I like that page. Is that on Instagram?
Yeah,
90s.
90s
Yeah,
Memphis.
no,
Yeah,
I follow
nice.
that.
Yeah.
I follow that. Yeah, it's good to see the 90s back. Some good old days, and
Yeah,
yeah, cool.
very good. I got Patrick Majors put, what would you say is the key to being successful in motocross, both mentally and in your riding?
Well, first of all, you need to have it in yourself. You need to have the feeling, the talent. And for me, when you look at back again to Jorge Prado, for me, he's a perfect example. These people that came from nowhere, they didn't have any background to motocross. I mean, Jorge did some trials biking when he was a young kid. He just jumped on a bike, and when I saw him riding when he was a little teenager on the 85s or even 65s, like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you don't need to tell him nothing. Just give it time. Let him develop. And
Yeah.
don't try to go faster than the time is ticking. I always tell my guys in the past. Just let them grow slowly. That's what I'm also trying to do with Liam. That's why we did the 125, and next year we will do first the EMX 250. We don't want to jump over to the MX2 World Championship class. It's just too quick. Give it time. Let the kids develop. And some kids need more time to develop, and some kids need less time to develop.
Yeah.
You need to have that. You need to know with which kid you can do what, and that's such an important thing. When you try to rush things, injuries will come, and then you come again to the point where it goes downhill or it goes uphill.
Yeah.
So you come to these how you say crossings in
Yeah.
life,
Left and right. Yeah.
left or right.
Yeah.
And when you take the left, it can be
Decision.
wrong. You always have to
Yeah.
make. For me, it's the right side because I'm right-handed. For the people
Yeah.
who are left-handed, they have to make the left turn. But for me, it's
Yeah.
the right turn, which is the good one.
Yeah. There was loads of comments as well after I mentioned my reunion meeting ideas at Fox Hill, saying there'd be a million air horns if Stefan comes, etc. So sounds like everyone's getting excited about the idea of that. Andrew Huddleston has put, "Hi Stefan, you raced many times in Ireland and even gave Liam an Irish name. What was your most memorable Irish track stroke race and experience?"
Um, Cork, Cork was special.
Yeah.
I didn't like Cork so much, but the memories I have with Cork was great. They were fantastic. I remember I did my first bungee jump ever, because '93 I struggled all year to try and win a GP, and then we came to Cork, and I said to my teammate Werner de Wit, I said, if I win this weekend, I'm gonna do the bungee jump, and he said,
Oh,
I jump with you,
what?
and then I win the GP. And I said, okay, we gotta go and jump now. So we both jump from
Wow.
from that little plateau on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
concrete there.
yeah.
Well, it was a quite funny story, but I mean, Desert Martin was great. It was a great
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
I don't remember the track in 2000 and what was it, 5? I don't remember which track it was. It was also a fun track. It was also quite sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irish tracks, they were a bit different.
Yeah.
But some were fun to race and some were less fun to race. And Cork was a special one.
Don't forget
Yeah,
that one. Don't forget that
yeah.
one.
Nice memories.
Yeah, very nice. That's what we like, is all the memories. Ben Piggins put, when Stefan had to have his spleen removed, did it affect him in the ways he recovered from illness and injury during his career?
In the beginning, yes. The first years, yes. It takes a certain amount of time that your organs adapt to the new situation in your body, which the spleen has certain things to do in your body which you can't do anymore. So then other organs need to take over of those jobs. So the first 6 to 1 year, 1.5 year, you feel, yeah, different things, and one of them was like my doctor also said, you will not feel tired anymore, or the tiredness that you're building up, you don't feel anymore. And in a way, it was also correct. I felt in a way, it's like, don't think about like I'm doing an intensive race that I'm never gonna get tired anymore. No, but it's different, when you build up tiredness, then one time you go down, and you're done. I mean, more about this tiredness. So it's for sure, the first months, for sure, your body needs more energy to make those changes. But I was lucky young at that moment, and then it's easy to make those changes and still go racing and do the very intensive sports where you need to recover. It's non-stop recovering from running, from cycling, races, training. That's the only thing the body every day needs to do, is recover and recover and recover.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I've got a question here from Matthew. He put, what did you think of Mark Jones as your old teammate with Honda, the Welsh wizard? I used to race with Mark as well back in the 100cc days.
Yeah, I mean, Mark was at that moment when he came in, he was a nobody, and then he did some great results. It was also Dave Grant's thing that he came up with Mark to step into my position because I was injured. It was just unfortunately that Mark could not build up his career more from that point. He stepped in really good. I think he had a good backup back then, but he couldn't manage to go and build up it even more. So that was a pity to see. But Mark was a great guy, and I mean, very gentle and a cool guy to be with. And so just a pity not to see more of him in the future. What chance he got back then.
Yeah, okay. Someone's put Richard Blakemore. He's put, can you ask Stefan, will he come to VMX Donations Farley Castle? I thought that question might come up at some point.
Yeah, I've been asked many years.
Mr. King, yeah, Dave King.
Yeah, Dave asked me many years, and he keeps asking, so he's not giving up. So who knows? I mean, at the moment, I haven't touched any bike anymore since end of October 2018. The malaria hit me very hard, and it put a lot of damage on my feet. So
Yeah.
I'm still having a lot of pain, and this is still holding me off going back to the bike. I'm not still to the point or that I can say, okay, I can go back riding.
Yeah.
It's still a challenge of me to go out and do some laps, but who knows? Maybe one day I will show up. At the moment, the time is not right yet.
Okay, cool. Richard Miram's put, does Stefan plan to get back into the MXGP at all?
Yeah, I'm planning to do that with my son. That's my first ambition, to get Liam on track, and soon as he's set up and he's ready to go and build up his career, then I can step back a little bit. I get recently several offers to do some things in GPs, but most of them I turned down. I've all turned them down actually, because now as a father, I feel like I need to be on the side of Liam and support him in the best way.
Yeah.
Also, the situation personally with my feet and my illness that I had, it's not the time to do other things. And but mainly it's also because I want to build up Liam to the point that he's old enough and to go his way. That day will come sooner or later, but it's not there. It's still going to take several years, and maybe then I will do something new if there will be some chances available. But recently I had some things that have been asked for, but I have to turn them down because of the situation. Yeah.
Okay, I've got an actual Pat Stott who does the 90s motocross social media. He's put 1997 Unadilla. What would he do different? I believe he stayed at Jeff Stanton's house that week and the 92 Supercross races he did. Also, I loved the honesty from Stefan at Budds Creek 99, saying the best of America should race it if they feel they were the best. I miss the honesty in sport. The robotic interviews are extremely boring these days.
Yeah, first of all, Unadilla, I had a great week with Jeff, and we was out running and doing stuff together. Jeff was a fantastic guy. I've met him a couple of years ago when they came to Everts and Friends, and they stayed at my house. So it was good to see Jeff back. Um, the thing that I struggled with most at Unadilla was I didn't have my GP bike there. I got US version, and it's more a supercross built bike that has so much bottom power, so much reaction that I was not used to. So we went testing on Friday or that Thursday, I don't know which day it was, just before Unadilla, and I just said it's too responsive, this bike. I needed less, so they already bring it down and down and down. It was not enough, so I just wore myself out on 10-15 minutes because of all the time.
Yeah,
So
not smooth. Yeah, not smooth.
I did the first moto, I finished third, and then the second moto, I don't know what I did, but I went down a couple of times, but I just physically couldn't handle that bike. It was just not my bike. So if I would change one thing, I would have wanted to have my GP bike there, because I had a really soft bike with a lot of torque and not a lot of bottom power, a lot of responsive power. So I think that would have helped me a lot, especially in Unadilla, which was a very natural track.
Yeah, for sure. Aaron Potts has put, does he regret that he never got the chance to race Ricky Carmichael at Matterley MX Donations? I know you had a lot of battles with Ricky, didn't you, in the Donations as well?
Yeah, we did, and some of them in some way were not 100% fair because he was on a 125, I was on a 250, and then we came to Zolder, and then the track was more supercross than it was motocross with all the whoops and the doubles, and he was on a two-stroke. I was already in a four-stroke, and then we went to Matterley, so it would have been the big meeting again, but then it got changed. So I mean, that's the way it is. I have a lot of respect for Ricky. He's the GOAT, and what he achieved with his riding style and his determination, ambition. I mean, he deserved it all. He was on top of his game, and I think he worked for that. So I can only say, I can only speak great words to Ricky and show him a lot of respect.
I got a question from a Nathan Pritchard. He put, did you have training regimes a lot and plans back in your prime? He's put, the AMA guys say that they were hung over a lot on race days in the 90s.
No, I never had hangovers. No.
That's good.
At the end of the season at the Nations, yes, there was always party time. It was always the last race of the season, and you go there as a team, and it was quite fun days we had. It was we had some fantastic parties. So I used to do my winter party around my birthday. I think some of the people still remember the after-season parties that I did, and then my championship parties that were also legendary, and especially the last years when Praha Khan, one of my big friends from the music industry, he did some concerts, so we had some great things. But when you cannot do things together, it's like chasing girls or going partying and racing. There's as a sportsman, you can only do one thing at a time, and I was many times laying in my bed, and the tent was having a big party, especially in Foxhills, and I'm trying to sleep, and people having a party, and it's like, oh yeah, I would like to go and have a look or whatever. but
Yeah.
you just can't. You need your rest. You need to go
Yeah.
race. You need to focus the next day. And you can't
Yeah.
do things both. So I always said, okay, my day will come later when I retire. I still will have time to do that. But now I have to stay focused. So that was a very high tradition in me. It was also not difficult to say, okay, now I'm racing and girls and partying. This is on the side. Now it's racing. You know, glory you can only have temporary, especially in motocross. They say glory is forever, pain is temporary, but whatever. For me, yeah, you cannot just combine them. In the winter season, yes, but in the season, no.
Top professionalism, of course, from Stefan. YouTube. Hi, Stefan. During your time as a factory rider, does anything specific stand out that maybe was your idea in terms of bike development over the years?
I think during my racing career, not so much. For sure, the feedback that I always gave back to the manufacturers, for sure, they have used and put in their development of the future bikes. But I think mostly where I'm proud of is development of the 350 when I went to KTM. So I was in that project for 2 years. I think we started at somewhere end of 2007, 8, 9, and then we released the new 350. So I was involved a lot, and I think also because of all that development and all the ideas I had together with Pit Bayer, which way to go with the team, how we would set it up behind the scenes, support the riders. I think it's what success they still have today. It's what I put back then in 2006 on the agenda. From this is what I want to build up. Because this was mostly of my personal experience that I needed as a rider to support me to become good at the weekends, which was still missing in most of the teams. It was not there back then. And I said, Pete, listen, this is what I need. I need practice mechanics. I need a van. I need the best possible practice bikes, same as race bikes. And that's how we started, and we build it up, and eventually we built that 350, new concept, new chassis, new look. We had the linkage. We was able to bring in the Carly team with Carioli. Afterwards, they bring in the Coster, and the ball keep rolling, and this just was winning and winning. We was looking for the good riders. Always try to have plan A, but also have plan B ready for a backup. So I think I had a big chunk of that influence in all the team of there. So coming back to the question is like, yeah, the 350. I think the most influence on that bike, how to develop the bike of KTM back then.
Interesting. Someone's put, hi, Stefan. If you could pick any rider, past or present, to be on your team alongside Liam, who would it be?
Oh, yeah, past or present. Present for me, it's clear. It's Prado. I mean, I've mentioned this name a few times, and if this kid keeps his 2 feet on the ground, like I said, he's gonna be the guy to beat in the future. But if you go really more back in time, there's many opportunities there. And again, one of my favorites would be Joel Robert. He was a very big character in our sport. I had the privilege to work with him for many years when he was team manager of the Nations. So it was so great to get to know of him and how he was thinking and he always made it so much fun because he had these funny jokes just before the start. He would go to the Americans and make a funny joke or things like that, and that's Joel Robert and made him just so special, So for sure he would be on my team.
That's pretty cool. I've got a question from Larry Kessel. He's put, did you like riding Torrington in the British Championship?
Oh, which track was that? I did many tracks back in '96, I think it was. I did a lot of British Championship. I think I missed one after Valkenswaard when I was so sick and ill. It was a pity that I just lost the British Championship on the end. But Torrington, I just cannot bring back the track to me in my mind. So sorry.
Can you remember Canada Heights?
Yes, that I remember. Yeah, it was very muddy. Yeah. It was a cool track. It was not far for us from I think from what was it, Dover to Canada Heights was half an hour or not even. But the year I raced Canada Heights was very, very muddy. Yeah.
Because in the schoolboys, they used to they used to call it like an international when we were all kids, sort of racing there. They used to bring like a lot of the Dutch and Belgian guys over.
Is that still existing, that track?
Yes. Yep. They still do some British Championship on it. It's a very good track. Yeah. So sort of a bit sandier down the bottom and a bit harder at the top of the track. Yeah. Interesting track. Right. Where's my next one? Someone's put, what was your most memorable pass?
Oh, definitely the one in Austria. I think it was the year 2002. It was, I think I was racing 500 class that year for Yamaha, the number one. And the Maria was leading the whole moto. It was in the Austrian ring or something it called.
Yeah.
And I was leading one lap. From start until the second last turn, I was in second and third position. And the last turn, I made the pass to P1, and just 20 meters after or 30 meters after, we crossed the finish and I win the moto. So it was the whole race, the battle with the Maria in front, and then it was Garcia Vico. He went to second place. So at one stage I was in third place, and then Garcia Vico got a bit tired, so I went back to second, and then I got close to the Maria, and we just went to this last part of the track, and it would have a left turn, and we went to the whoop-de-doos, and then another left turn, a small double jump, and then a quite sharp right-hander, and then it was finished. And the Maria was always going outside in the whoops. The turn before the whoops, he would go outside, and I said, okay, last turn I'll go inside and make the block pass, and I win the GP. But he was so smart that the last lap he went to the inside. So I said, okay, yeah, no chance to win the GP. So he went into the whoops, but that rut was so deep that he kind of messed up his going through the whoop-de-doos, that I managed to get out of the whoop-de-doos next to him, but I was on the outside. So I cut behind him, so we went over the double, and then it was this last turn, and I just find this little berm there, and I could make the block pass in that turn, and then I just win the GP, but it was like 30 meters in front of the finish line that I just went to P1. Not one single lap I was in the leads, but then just 30 meters before I took the lead and I win the GP. So Kurt Nicolai was pissed like hell. He was the team manager back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can't believe this. I won the GP, I didn't expect it. So then it's like you plan something, it doesn't work out, and then you gotta invent plan B or plan C or plan D, whatever, and it still worked out. So it just came together, and that was fantastic pass.
Personally, I had some great, obviously, memories of the Fox Hill days, obviously, and the Matterley thing with Stuart and stuff like that. But I remember the Namur. I know you pronounce. How do you pronounce the Namur? Ymir.
Yeah, in Flemish we call it Name.
Nama.
But in English they call it Namur.
Yeah, so I was saying Namibia, and you was like, "What's that?" So yeah. Anyway, so Namibia. I remember you had that line down the doubles, and it was really wet, and you just kept going down that inside line with a big rut at the bottom and cutting inside everyone and making pass after pass there every
Yeah,
lap.
yeah,
Remember that? Yeah, that was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was also one of the highlights of the year for me.
yeah.
Because I wasn't that good in the start, and I was, I think, P7 or P8, and
Mm,
um, I was thinking to myself, if I want to win this GP today, a lot of things need to change really quick.
mm,
And that year was a lot of rain, so the track was just one line. It was
mm,
basically one line around the whole track, and it's a
yeah.
long track, up and down, and through the forest, citadel. So there was basically nowhere a chance to pass, and I was like, there must be a place to pass. It doesn't exist that you cannot pass anywhere. So this went through my mind when I was literally racing in P8, and well, I need to find a place where you can pass. So, and since that day, I always tell my riders there is always a place to pass. You just need
Yeah,
to find it.
yeah,
And it
exactly.
is like that.
Hmm.
You see still until today
Yeah,
uh, tracks, and you see riders trying everywhere, impossible to pass. It's not possible. You just need to set it up better to
hmm,
make a pass somewhere. And you need to know the place where you can do the pass and set it up right to make the
yeah,
pass at that position. And till we come to that point down that steep downhill, and
yeah,
everyone was so afraid to go down that hill because it was such a deep rut,
yeah.
so tricky to go down the hill, and they were braking so quick, and I just went pop a little bit longer, and I took a
Oh, it's
risk,
lovely. It's
but I
lovely.
was I was confident to do that.
Mm,
And from that first pass I did, I was like, okay, I'll get them all here. I
hmm.
just need to set myself up because
Yeah.
they didn't know that surprise was coming there,
Hmm.
but I knew it was coming. It was just a matter of setting it up really right.
Yeah.
So half of the lap before, I was already preparing
Hmm.
everything to get to that point, and then bam, do it.
It's beautiful,
And
isn't it?
and Tony Carioli, he did the same in Arco di Trento a couple of years ago, and that's in that one
Mm,
pass before he went also to the jumps. He did the exact same thing what I did in Namur, and I think it was 2004.
I just spotted your dad's actually wrote on here.
My dad.
Yes, he's put there he is, Harry Everts. He's put regarding Suzuki, Stefan, we know what happened, but we are real winners. Mm.
Yeah, you know, another story behind the Suzuki story was,
Mm.
and that's also what my dad was explaining last week on your show,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that in '83, when he's supposed to sign this Honda deal,
Hmm.
uh, it went wrong because he broke his collarbones in St. Antonius. And then the week after, he missed his signing deal with Honda. Suzuki came to his house. I remember that day when I was a little boy then, when they came around the corner, and when they told my dad, Suzuki stops. I will
Mm.
still remember that day until today.
Hmm.
And now I took over the Suzuki team from Gabors, and then they came to me 2 years after and told me the same thing. We're gonna stop. And I got this. The first thing that went through my mind when I was this little kid, when they told
Mm.
my dad they're gonna retire of racing,
Hmm.
that went through my mind when they told me back in 2017 we are retiring. So it was like, not again. This is the second time in my life I have to go through this.
Mm.
And it was even harder than it was back then. Then it was
Yeah.
hard for my dad, but now it was hard for me to go and tell
Hmm.
all the team we're
Yeah.
out of job. And this should
Yeah.
have been Sylvain Gabors's job to do, not my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Because why Suzuki let somebody like me take over the team from Gabors and then decide 2 years later to retire?
That's
I was the
strange.
bad guy in this whole situation. I fucked up
Yeah.
the whole Suzuki team. because of me they retired, but that's not possible.
Not good. Not good. James Stanton's put, does Stefan keep in contact with fellow racers, and who does he keep in contact with the most? And any chance of a shout out to Stan Stanton, keep on fighting after recent illness?
A shout out to Stan Stanton.
That's it.
He's not relative to Jeff Stanton.
No, I don't think so. No, this is in England. I think these guys, James Stanton. So I'm presuming this is Dad Stan Stanton.
Hey, Stan, keep on, or any chance of a shout to Stan Stanton, keep on fighting. Yeah, I mean, never give up. You know, you never know what the next day will bring. Even if you're really ill, and for many years, you know, I have the same feeling now with what I went through. At one point, you think there's no light coming in the tunnel, but at one point, if you every day expect now it's changing, now it's just turn that thing out. You cannot live that way to expect tomorrow is the day it will change, because that will kill you eventually. That will break you down. It's just try to be busy with other things that takes your mind off that. And that's what I've been trying to do the past year. 2019 has been a really difficult year, but I've put that on the side. I went racing with Liam. I did some other stuff beside that, so it would forget my problems more, what I had daily. And then at one point you say, it's getting better without knowing it. You realize, it's better. And I think that's a message that I can only give to you, Stan, is don't focus on too much. Try to do other things that takes your mind away, and then one day you realize, it's better. It's never gonna be as good as it was before. So for my situation also, I will never be. I will have to live and deal with pain for the rest of my life. But there's a certain pain you can deal with, and a certain pain you cannot deal with. So, and this is very important. It has to come under that border where you can live with it, and say, okay, that's it.
I'm sure James would love that. That's very inspiring there from the man, Stefan. That's awesome. And he also said about, do you keep in contact with any other riders, racers that you race with? Is there any you keep in contact with still? Or?
Yeah, I think the guy that I have most contact with is Manik Bavoots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk a lot, you know, just about all kinds of things, racing today, what's happening, but it's all private, you know. I just stay within our house, and he talks about his problems, and we talk about ours. And you know, Manik was one of my best friends before we got into the big combats we had.
Rivalry.
We was so good mates, and then we went into those mid-90 battles.
Yeah.
We got big competitors from each other. A lot of things happened in that period.
Yeah.
And yeah, for him more than for me, because I eventually won every time the championship from him. He lost it from me. So for him, it was a very difficult time to deal with. So our friendship went gone for many, many years, till we end up as teammates with Yamaha, which was for him difficult to be again close to me. But that's what we always wanted to be back in the early 90s. It's like, we gotta be teammates one day. So our dream came true eventually when we ended up at Rinaldi. But still, many years after that, then I don't remember when it was, but he came here to my house, and we sat down, and we've been watching to some TV, and we had some duvels, you know, the beer duvel. And then he said to me, Stefan, I've put all the things behind me. After so many years, and I was so happy that he could, you know, that he could put the side of him to lost so many championships towards me, against me. And then eventually we could become back close to each other, because I missed him for those many years as a friend, as a real friend.
Yeah.
So that was cool of him. And I have such much respect for him with all he went through and what he built up to his career. He's only been second, but still he achieved many things, coming from where he came from. Yeah, fantastic.
So that's great then. So you've now got your close personal relationship again. So that's great for you guys. He's also got a son as well, and that's very good as well, isn't he?
Yeah, his son is called Jarne. He's I think around 10 years now.
Yeah.
10, 11. So he's on the 85s now. He was a soccer player for many years, but since I think half a year now, since he finally decided that he goes full focus on racing and motocross. His heart, his passion is more in motocross, and I know that Marnik still wants him more to go and play soccer than race bike. But I mean, he's been able to do what he loved to do. So, here we have another.
Hello.
Yo, Liam.
Hi.
Here you go, look.
Great.
How's it going?
I'm fine. Just another.
Oh, there we go. We've been talking about you. Hopefully, be back on the bike soon then.
Yeah, I'm working hard to get physically ready for next season, and I'm very motivated.
Your dad said you're working hard, so fair play. Well done.
Yeah.
But he's got exams coming soon, so he's now into the French studying. So
that's pretty difficult.
Every day he's got the French study lessons through internet because of the lockdown also. But it's not so easy for him. But yeah, it's one of the last exams, and then he's done with school. So
he's got the English down anyway.
Yeah, the English is easy.
Yeah, we'll adopt you as a Brit as well.
We'll see about that.
Hopefully we'll see you back racing soon then, Liam.
Yeah, I hope so.
Next year.
Yeah, next year.
Good.
Hopefully we get rid of this virus thing going on and we can see you back.
I hope so. Good, I'll leave you guys to it.
Thanks, Liam. Thanks for coming on.
All the best.
Good to see you. All the best, mate. All right. Thank you. There you go. Look, that's a nice little visit.
Yeah.
I got the game to show him the t-shirt. I've got a John Nichols here. He's put, does Stefan remember a great race with Joel Smets at Lirop? They went at it for a few laps like a train before Stefan had a bike problem. It was a fantastic contrast of Joel's guts and determination and Stefan's pure talent. I think.
Yeah, I remember that day because I was if I would have won that GP, I would have become world champion. So then I DNF'd. So then it got delayed by the next round. The next round was in Castiglione del Lago in Italy, which was a hard packed track, and I struggled there. So I still didn't manage to win the championship there. So it was another race later, and then it finally happened in Austria. But yeah, I still remember Lirop. Yeah, we had a tough battle there going on, and then my bike stopped, so the connection of the ECU just came undone, and that's why my bike stopped. It was not so well done, but afterwards they fixed all those connections much better, and didn't happen anymore. But yeah, I was one of the victims. So
it's a shame, man. Got Adam Winslet here. He did your interview on VMX, I remember, for the Farley guy, Adam Winslet. He's put, what goes through your mind on the start line?
I mean, the last seconds, not much. It's just you go into such a high focus and your heart rate goes up big time without moving or doing anything. It's just the pressure and the concentration that brings you down of the focus on, your reaction on the start gate. But the minutes before, what I used to do, I just went in my mind. I went through the whole track, and I knew plan A, plan B. So that turn I could go. My first option was inside, second option outside if I would make a bad start. So I always had plan B ready if I would have a bad start. So this was my, how you see, my tradition in the last years, that I just went completely. I went into a very deep concentration, and I went through all the track with my eyes closed, and I just figured out. And so I knew where to go the first lap, so that I didn't have any hesitations from where to go, in or outside, or which line I need to take. So no, that to be clear from lap one.
Did you ever like visualize races like the night before or anything like that? Did you ever like do that sort of visual thing where you sort of saw yourself
No,
winning?
I stopped doing that, because whatever you dream of and whatever you think is going to happen, it's not going to happen. There's always a different scenario. So then in the beginning, yes, you dream of many things, and it always turns out to be different. So I never, at one point, I never do any pre-dreaming or pre-races in my mind. No, that doesn't work.
I got Adam Pryor. He's put, if Stefan can come, if he's coming to Fox Hill, can he please bring plenty of gin? I think you'd have to have a stand there, wouldn't we, of the S72 gin at Fox Hill, Stefan? Could you see that?
Yeah. Then we have to have a big party tent, If we have to drink the gin, then we need to have the music, and some. I'll bring the gin, no worries.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Someone said you've had two MX legends in Harry and Stefan. Keep them coming, Lee. Paul Maynard's put, does Stefan think in his prime would he whoop Hurlins in the sand?
That's a difficult question. We are different generations. I mean, would I ever be able to beat Joel Robert in his prime time when he was riding in the mud? It's hard to say. Bikes has changed. To make those comparisons, I stopped doing that. That's something that people always ask and journalists ask.
Yeah.
Everyone had his day, and unfortunately, we cannot see all the best riders together from the history of motocross. It's not like this. That's sorry. No,
just a bit of fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Richard Blakemore.
You decide who wins.
Yeah. I'd say it off camera. Richard Blakemore put, Lee, can you please ask Stefan, would he have liked to have raced the factory HRC Honda in 86, the 500, like Dave Thorpe's 500? Would you have loved to have rode that bike? That was pretty cool back then.
Yeah, I mean, HRC, they used to have the best bikes. They had the best technology, whatever, and as a kid, I always dreamed of being a Honda rider. And I remember I had my Honda cap and my Honda jacket, and even my dad was a Suzuki rider. So it was not that good at a certain point of my age. We went to this period. And the day I became a HLC rider back in the 90s, for me, it was a dream came true, because I had this sense of childhood. So, yeah, I mean, I would have loved to race those bikes, but definitely I think the bike that Tim Geiser is racing now is back a great bike. You can see from the beginning of on, I've seen that bike is good. It refers back to those old days in the 80s, where they had the best bikes out there, and everyone wanted to be on that bike. And it looks like HRC have done, again, a good job. They've been off for many years, but it looks like they are back on track where they've been in the past.
We've had just to say a quick hello, guys, from Scottish motocross rider Stuart Flockhart.
I know Stuart. He's ordering gin. Sorry, Stuart, for the misunderstanding with the tonic, but it's all been set up now. So thanks for your orders.
Top man, Stuart. Can I ask Stefan? This is from Richard Myrams. Can I ask Stefan what his main training tool was when he was at his peak?
I did a lot of running. I used do some circuit training. A lot of different exercises with a stopwatch, and a lot of changes, bringing heart rate up, recover, heart rate up, recover, heart rate up, like this kind of training. And cycling was recovery. Then at one stage I started to swim a little bit more. So yeah, winter time would be a little bit more mountain biking, a little bit more gym. I mean, during the season, it's a lot of recovery training. If you have many races coming up, it makes no sense to keep training hard. If you have a weekend off, then I would peak again towards a weekend physically. So we used to have a quite good structure system how to work, and also very important is to listen to your body and give enough rest to your body. Just keep training. Some people think you must train hard and don't stop, but at one point the body can't go anymore. So it's important. There's a difference between laziness and tiredness, and you need to know the difference. When you're lazy, you have to go out and train harder, but you can also be tired, and then you have to do less.
Need the recuperation as well. Dave Lawson's put, does Stefan remember trying to eat a tree at his championship party in 2002? Ooh.
I remember we did a hell of a party on my championship party, and also Marnik was there. He fell off the stadium, the stage. Sorry, not the stadium.
Stage, yeah.
The stage, he fell off, and we was throwing around with some trees and stuff. So it could be possible that we've been trying to eat some trees. Yeah, it could be. In a different state, with some alcohol and stuff. But there was some celebrate, of course.
That's brilliant. Paul Maynard put, would it bother you if Carioli matches his 10 titles? And if so, see you at the Vets. #11.
Yes and no. Of course, as a winner, and this is our mentality in our family. It would hurt me a little bit, but somehow if I have to give it to some rider, it would have been to Carioli, because there's always been a mutual respect to each other since a long time. I mean, when Tony started to become world champion, I was at my end, so we just missed each other in our careers. But for me, when I retired, I also announced back then that Tony would be the one who could step into my shoes or boots and fulfill, the champ that I was in those days. He could be, and he did, So if one are able to do it, or to equal my championship titles, then I would give it to Tony for sure.
Okay, I've got a question here from Dean Hacks, and he's put, can you buy your gin in England, Stefan? And I'm in the UK, so I would say you can. Tell him all about it, Stefan.
What's the difference between England and UK?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, you can order it on my website, s72.com. Sorry, s72gin.com. And then we ship it to England. Actually, we ship many things to. We have a lot of orders from England, so sometimes we have a broken glass with Stuart. We had this problem once, but
was it?
We've backed it up immediately. So we want everybody to, whatever they order, that they get it in good shape at their house. And so we deliver at the door, at least when people are at home, because sometimes people are not at home. So the postman leave a message, and then you have to pick it up from the post office. So we had some occasions like that. But anyhow, at the end, yes, you can order, but you have to order it on my site. There's no shops in England, not yet. I hope in the future maybe to find some importer, because the English people drink a lot of gin, much more than anywhere in the world, beside maybe Spain. So England is a great gin market, but a lot of competition out there. So
maybe I should be a UK. Maybe I should be a UK importer.
Yeah, yeah, there are more people who have been interested, but with alcohol and alcohol licenses and all that, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
that
not easy. Yeah.
not so easy. So, and now we have the Brexit, what that all will bring. So it's a difficult time. Plus Corona and Brexit. Oh, no.
Yeah, oh my God, it's like crazy, isn't it?
But at the end, if you have a bottle in house, it gives you great times.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the old the glasses as well. I don't know if you guys can see
Yes,
that.
the purple. Why purple? Because the taste of the gin has a violet taste, and violet is linked to purple. So that's why everything is in purple. But at the end, I start to like purple. It has a dark side, but also something, something special in there.
I'd literally never even tried really gin until I tried yours as well. So now you've actually got me into the gin. So
how is that possible? As an Englishman, you never
I
tried
know,
gin?
I know. I was always good, sticking to me racing and all that. Didn't get into alcohol too much and all that. So yeah, a bit later in life now. I'm a gin man now, due to Stefan.
As long as you drink it with how you say, with proper mindset and safe, that you stay safe and healthy, it's all good. So I have to say that.
Yeah, I never drink too much anyway, so that's all good. In moderation and all that, isn't it, Stefan?
Yeah, drink with moderation. That's the word.
That's the one. That's the word. Someone's put from YouTube. What do you think about the return of Dungey, Ryan Dungey? I've noticed he's racing again next year, I believe.
I never believed in comebacks, and you name me one comeback that have succeeded. Only in tennis it's possible, but in no other sports I never seen a comeback that succeeded well. So I don't know what to expect. Maybe Dungey can change my mind, but I don't believe in comebacks. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, a few might say that'll be interesting to see what happens there. David Campbell, the Scottish motocross rider, he's put, "Hi Lee, can you ask Stefan if there was a pub for his fans stroke supporters like Joel Smets had in his hometown in his heyday?"
He's asking if I had a pub.
Yeah, was there a pub
Yes.
for his fans and
Yeah,
supporters?
yeah. I had a pub because in the past this is tradition, in Belgium, to have a fan club and to have a pub where the fan club comes together. The fans come there and drink beers and or gins, now gins. Back then it was beers.
Yeah.
So yes, my pub used to be in my hometown near Roeteren.
Okay.
But it changed around a few times. It went from one other pub to another one. So my uncle Pierre is the brother for my father. He used to run my fan club. He also organized all the coaches going to the GPs, the buses with the fans in.
Yeah.
We used to have to foxhole like 2 or 3 coaches going there, full of fans. And he was the one who kind of basically decide, okay, we go to that pub or to that pub, which give good, how you say, prices, whatever, the drinks or
deals, yeah.
deals. So this was a bit of tradition here in Belgium, not only for motocross, but in many other sports. It was like this. I mean, people like to be connected with a group, a group that like to support athletes or whatever. So, yeah. So yes, I had my own pub then.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Ben Piggins put, "How come Stefan got into the gin? It was obviously a bit of a contrast from the motocross. What got you into the..."
Yeah, I mean, you're fully right. The contrast is big, to be an athlete and to be connected to alcohol is not a perfect case. Now, I'm retired in 2006, so I'm not being a sportsman anymore. People still look at me as a sportsman, but I mean, I got through the years somehow through other people connected to gin, and I got interested, and then I started collecting gin bottles from everywhere in the world. So reading the reading the stories behind each gin, and a lot of gins came from England, so a lot of interesting stories also. And then you start to play around with different tonics and different botanicals inside the gin to give it more an accent of a taste and stuff like that. So reading books. So it was like a hobby to me. And then one day I just ran into a local distillery, and these people, they followed my career, and then we start talking about gins, and they did private labeling gins, and there it all started, so I never planned to go into a gin business, and yeah, it just all came by coincidence. So yeah, I mean, we started to develop the gin end of 2016 with the local distillery, and I was searching for a great taste, which was not easy at one point till I got the idea of putting in the violet taste and the secret Chinese tea, and then I found the taste that I was looking for. So since June 17, I've launched my gin on the market, and yeah, we just been playing around with it. So yeah, it's like a hobby. So yeah.
I see I've seen a couple of advertisements now leading up to the Halloween thing. You've got a couple of things going on. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's we try to interact with the situation or what's happening at the time. When it's autumn, it's autumn. When it's spring, it's spring. When it's summer, it's summer. So yeah, we try to interact with that on social media and all that. So it's not easy to be in this different world beside racing. Yeah, to find, especially with the competition which is out there of gins, very big brands who have a lot of money to spend on promotion, marketing, which we don't have. Yeah, we're just a bit still investing, and trying to get into our market, our people that like the gin. So not easy.
I've had a few comments coming in now saying, how do I get hold of some of your gin and one of them fine 72 gin hats? We've just said that, s72gin.com. Simi, you check that out, you'll be able to get that. Obviously anything into the UK as well.
Yeah, just visit the website, s72gin.com, and there we even have a multi language website, so the English language is on there. We even have, you should check out the cocktails. So I have developed some cocktails with our vodka and also with our gin that you can play with. So if you say, okay, I'm tired of drinking the gin, let's make some kind of cocktail. So, and the funny thing is, like, the names of the cocktails, we've related them to racing. So we have a red plate, we have a scrub, we have nations. So we have a legend as a purple 72. So that was cool to play with, and I have, of course, a specialist who is making the cocktails for me, and then we just launch them on the side. But it's just something extra besides our gin. I've made the vodka. It's also a pure vodka, but with the taste of violet. So it's a little brother and sister that I have with the gin and the vodka, but it's related to each other. So yeah, there's still many ideas in the future to go with, but first we need to get this gin thing going and try to build it up, and then there are still many ideas still in my mind that could be possible to realize in the future, but that's still far from today.
Okay, that's cool to see down the line.
But the hats, by the way, they're also available on
there. Very nice.
the website.
Very nice. Pat's put, apart from the motocross, if you could be successful at anything, what would it be, whether it's sport or business related?
Well, that's a difficult question, of course. I think you got to do something in life where your passion is and what you're interested in. And of course, motocross, because my dad's influence brought me to racing and made me big. I was talented for it. So, but beside that, one of my second passions is music. So I would have loved to become a drummer. You know, I go to a concert. What inspires me the most is always looking at the drummer, how he's playing and whatever. So that would have been maybe a possibility if I would come back in another life and I would choose. Then I would say, okay, then I would become a drummer.
Do you ever remember? This is a bit of a long shot. This one. Do you ever remember when you were younger? Did they have it in Belgium? It was in the UK. There was the thing called the Muppet Show. I don't know if you ever saw it.
The Muppet Show, yes, we had it in Belgium. Yeah, sure.
Remember the animal?
Yeah. It was good, eh?
Oh, that was classic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, I think I was a Kermit the Frog fan as well. Bit weird, but yeah. Someone put Patrick Major put. I noticed at Hawkstone International that in the deep and muddy conditions that Liam was looking much further ahead down the track than the other riders, even out of the Pro MX1 and MX2 riders. Is that something which you've worked on with him, or has that come naturally?
You know, it's very hard to work in those specific conditions like Hoxton Park this year. You know, it's also not obvious that if it's so muddy that you go out, let's go right now, you know, to destroy the bike and all the work you have on the motorcycle to go and do some practice sessions in that condition. It's so hard to have the same conditions like on race day. So no, we didn't have any specific trainings for Hoxton Park. We just went 1 or 2 weeks before Hoxton. We was in Italy, and we just had 1 week where it was every day it rained and it was a bit slick and muddy. And that's why he also rode so well in Hoxton Park, in my opinion, that we just had a perfect preparation for Metally when it was so muddy on Saturday, and he just blew everyone away. And also in Hoxton Park, I was so impressed because his stars so off. It was so bad off the gate, and especially that second moto, he was like more than that last. Then he crashed the first turn up on the hill, and then the next lap he was in P2 or P3. I was like, what he did? You know, did he cut track?
Yeah.
I couldn't follow, and then he wins by far. And in Metally, his start was okay, but he was on it. So yeah, it's good to have some practice, but it's never possible to do the exact same training like race day, you know. Yeah. It's always different. So it came also a bit naturally.
Someone's put, they've not put a name on it, but they've put, I've named one of my kids after Stefan. He's a legend.
Yeah, it's not the first person that told me that they call this kid like me. There was another Belgian guy. He said, yeah, I've named my first kid to you, to Stefan, and the second kid he called to Marnik.
That's brilliant. That's pretty cool when people do.
Thank you. I'm honored. I'm flattered. So cool.
Stuart Flockhart's come up and put, love the S72 gin and the vodka too.
Yeah, he ordered vodka a few days ago, so he got it already.
Beautiful.
So good to hear, Stuart. Thank you.
Pat Stott put, a stat people don't talk about often is that Stefan obviously won. I mentioned it at the start before the interview that you won 4 titles for 4 different manufacturers, Japanese manufacturers, which will never be matched.
Yeah, I was the first one to do it. Yeah, on the Suka Hoya was my nickname for a while. Suka Hoya. So yeah, I mean, it's never been talked about it a lot that I was the first and last one to win in 4 brands. You know, Japanese brands. So I was also honored to visit all 4 Japanese manufacturers in Japan. So back in the days, we used to go out to Japan and do the testing. So I visit Honda facility, Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki. So I still remember that. So that was great to do that. So not so many people are privileged to have this opportunity and this chance to do that. So I still love the memory and thankful to that.
We saw a lot of your cool videos on Instagram of showing all your old helmets that you were spinning around on your little thing there. That was really cool. Did you get to keep a lot of your championship winning bikes as well? I saw a couple hanging down from the ceiling in the video you did.
Yes, I got all 10 of them. So
have you?
Actually, that story started the day that I visited Eric Bors's house, and we had the Supercross in Antwerp. It was called the Hard Cross, somewhere end of the 80s. And after the race, I would be able to drive home with Eric in his Porsche to his house, and then my parents would come there and pick me up. So I was so because Eric was one of my idols when I was a kid, and then I could drive with him in his Porsche driving to his house. So you cannot imagine how cool it was for me. And we came to this little bridge where we jumped with a Porsche. We came off the ground with 4 wheels. That was Eric, and then speedway in the next turn, and then we arrived to this house, middle in the forest. And then we walked in his house, and in his living room there was 2 bikes standing from his first 2 championships. Was the 82 125 and 83, but 83 or something. And I never forget that as a little kid. I was like, oh, that's really cool, you know.
Yeah.
So in my first contract that I signed, my first proper contract, I always put in my contract is like, when I win the world championship, the bonus, one of the bonuses is the official race bike. So that was because I saw that with Eric back when I was a kid. So, and that's why every time we made the contract, plus the bike.
Plus the bike.
So I got all my 10 championships bikes, the original race bikes. Yeah.
I see a couple in the video you did for me. Said about you could see the cow. I saw the Kawasaki in the background hanging from the ceiling. Is that right?
Yes, I got my man cave, and in my man cave I have the 4 Japanese brands. So the 125, 91, the 250, 95 Kawasaki, then 96 Honda, my favorite bike, and then the last Yamaha 2006. So those are really cool.
Amazing. Very cool. Simi Stockput, I had an old laser helmet with Stefan playing the drums painted on the back.
I play the drums with a helmet.
He said he said he had an old laser helmet, and then he put you on the back playing the drums painted on the back of it.
Oh yes, that one. Yeah, that was cool because I mean the music has always been, like I said, a big part in my life and passion, and because also for me, you know, we are under pressure for many days a year, and music was always a moment for myself, and I would forget everything. It was relaxing me, so that's also the reason why I enjoyed listening to music and good songs, and just searching for the best songs and play it again and again and again, you know. So it just forgets all your misery, all your stress, or whatever you have that you don't need to have at one point, that can relax you.
Pat's put, how difficult was it retiring? Did you look at the sport in a completely different way after?
It was for sure not an easy thing. One day I stood up and I said, okay, that day I will retire. I don't know, it just came into me, and just my heart, my mind said, okay, then we retire. And I did. I never changed my mind. That was 2.5 years before I stopped. So
right, okay.
Middle of 2004, I woke up in Lichtenvoorde, the GP, in the morning, and I said to my wife, Kelly, 2006 is my last year.
Oh, yeah, so you did it that far ahead.
It was weird, yes. It was quite some years before.
Yeah.
And I stopped. And then, yeah, of course, the big challenge was coming towards us, is the black hole after racing.
Mhm.
So from my side, I had this new job with KTM, which I enjoyed. And yeah, we brought it to big successes at the end. The beginning was not easy, but after a couple of years, yeah, we just keep building up the successes. So, but privately, it was not so easy, you know, because we go into a completely different lifestyle. Before, everything was just around me, and then you change and you become more like a normal family. So yeah, the jobs get a bit differently. So yeah, that was not an easy time. So it was difficult to go through this transformation more privately, not so much as a job and business.
Yeah.
But yeah, at one point we came through, and then I decided to marry the wife of my life. So yeah.
So I spoke to your dad about it as well last week, and he said that I get the impression, obviously, he felt that you should have carried on. He said, obviously, you won your last world title. He was thinking you could still win more. That winning mentality still.
Yeah, I think I could have went on.
Yeah.
I still could have. I mean, I wasn't tired of racing my bike and tired of traveling and training. It was just a mentally part that said to me, I'm over it. I had enough of it. But to go out riding and training every day was not a problem. I wasn't bored to go to a new race. And yeah, I mean, every race is different. You cannot compare one to another race. They're all different, and always something new comes towards you. And that's always a challenge for as a rider, to deal with those challenges and to make the right decisions. And with a lot of backup and experience, it's easy to make the right decisions. And which I showed the last years, that I was on top of my game for many years because of all of that. But then mentally, you will come more under pressure because fans, sponsors, commitments, things you don't want to do anymore, things you don't like to do anymore. And this was one of the big things that. But what my dad said, he's right. I could have continued for maybe 1 or 2 more years and still have more GP wins, maybe one more championship. Who knows? I think the year after it was Coppens, and then it was Steve Ramon. So the competitors, they were not as big. All respect to those guys, don't get me wrong, but if it's like Carioli at his best point, it would have been for me very hard at a later age to go against a young guy like Carioli at his best, you know, to still win from him. And that's what he is facing right now against Tim Geiser and Jorge Prado and Jeremy Sewer and all the rest of the pack, you know. They're all way younger, and life changes when you pass 30, you know. You just transform, and nothing to do about that.
I'll be very interested in to hear this answer as well. Someone's put, did you ever try Speedway? My family was quite into that. No, you never tried?
No.
Didn't you?
No.
Never interested, or just thought too dangerous to try?
No, I never had the opportunity, or it never crosses my path to have a chance to go and try Speedway. No. I went to look at the ice Speedway a few times.
Oh yeah.
In Holland, they used to have a world championship race.
Yeah.
That was quite impressive. And to be honest, I never seen a live normal Speedway thing. just on videos and stuff. So sometimes there's some great races to see, but never live. So no.
Got Luke Bedwell's just come up. He's put, Stefan, it was a pleasure watching you race when I was growing up. Can you give a shout out to my partner, Adele, and tell her to add the gin to my Christmas list?
Adele, we have some
Yeah.
great gift boxes. It's the best way to surprise your husband for Christmas. So go to the website and order. You will not be disappointed of the taste. The bottle will be empty before you know it, and then you will have to order a new one.
Exactly that. I'm at that point as well, Stefan. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, so hopefully you'll get the gin for Christmas then. There you go. Luke, direct from the man to your partner Adele. Get the Christmas list sorted out with the gin. Andy Perrett's put, Lee, can you ask Stefan why he feels Belgium has produced so much talent in motocross?
Well, I think if you look at our history, when you go back to the 60s, where we start developing champions, and it just kept rolling and rolling, and then we get to a very big highlight in the 80s. But then from the 90s, it starts to go already downhill, and just keep going downhill. So we are far from where we used to be with our champions, our riders, and just the whole lifestyle, politics, the green people, the rights of every citizen here just changed so much that our sport doesn't have a place anymore here. And
what's going on with the tracks?
most of the tracks are gone. We still have a few left, but for how long? All the big international races, the classic races, they're all disappeared. All the people are there, and if I look to the politics, they're only working for their votes. And if they have some competition somewhere, they take their hands off it. So it's all about other things and not giving kids a hobby or a future, or giving people jobs, because a lot of jobs went lost in our industry. It's many things, and they just look at different things, which is very disappointing for me to see what happened the past 30 years. And in the 90s, we didn't realize it, but then in the nillies, we start to see we're just losing ground here, and it's going downhill. But then with Smets, Burwoods, and myself, we kept the media up. The media was very interesting to follow up, so we kept everything up, but it was camouflage. And then as soon as we stopped, the wall fell down, and now we dropped a few miles down the sea, like a big drop, and the sport just went to nowhere. Now we have Jago and we have Liam. The media is coming a little bit back, but we need them back on top, winning that. Yeah, but they also have to sell themselves. Jago was not the best guy to speak to the media, and so already there, it's not the ideal thing. With Liam, I hope to push him in that way that he can, I have to say, how you say, appear nice and good, interesting to the people, media, that it creates again some interest to our sport. That's what we need. That's the way it goes these days. It's also the social media that works that way, and it's a different lifestyle now. In the past, it wasn't. It was more about the pureness of things, and now it's more other things. That builds up things, sport and athletes and whatever. So it's a different approach. So yeah.
What did that mean to you when you? I know you was multiple. I think it was 5. Was it Belgium Sportsman of the Year and plus a Lifetime Achievement Award? What do those sort of things mean to you?
Yeah, they meant a lot to me, especially as a motocross rider, competing to other sports. And in my prime time, it was against Tom Bone, the cyclist. He achieved many things, and he wasn't even at his best because he could have achieved many more things. But I still managed to win a couple of Sportsman of the Years from him, which was really, really good. So I got at the time, I got the respect from the media and the people of who I've became, who I built up to at the end. But after that, it just dropped away. And now, in the meantime, more than 10 years has been gone by. So there's new generations coming into the media world, which don't even heard about Stefan Everts anymore or whatever about the history of our sport. So it's going to be tough to come back and build things up, but it's never going to be the same like it was. So yeah, and yeah, we have to live with that and accept that.
Well, I'm going to ask Stefan one more question before I let him go, because he's been on the air for a long time with us, so I really appreciate his time. One more question, Stefan, just to leave us with, is youth riders of today that obviously want to be professional riders. What sort of advice would you give to the youngsters of today in the current climate of riding?
Yeah, I mean, what advice is? This is always a difficult question, you know. I mean, you have to follow your dreams, and the bigger your dream is, the bigger your ambition is, and the bigger determination you have, the more chance of achieving your goals. So it's a really hard, tough sport we are in, a tough business, a very small business in the world. I mean, if you compare us to soccer or Formula One or other big popular sports, we are very little. And I've been trying to change that, but it's very hard, especially to the media, because the media puts you in different categories, and they're the one who decides how big your sport is for a big part of it. You know, and I've tried all I can. I've got the respect. I was gone, and it just dropped back again. So I think for the kids, if you are very much determined, just go ahead for it and try and change our sport and bring it to the next level. That you would fulfill one of my dreams if you could do that, you know, and do that. So back to the question is, I mean, hard work. The only way that brings you to the top is with a lot of hard work, determination, passion, what I just said. So
Brilliant.
good.
Awesome. I really appreciate that, Stefan. It's been awesome. Obviously, we'll keep all the guys up to speed with what's happening with the S72 Gin and yourself.
Good.
And
Lovely.
Massive cheers from me.
Yeah, good. Enjoy.
You can raise your water, Stefan.
Yeah, it's empty. I'm gonna go for a gin now.
Yeah, go for a gin now and have a chill out.
Offline.
Offline, yeah. All right, I really appreciate that.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. So
Brilliant.
maybe we can do it in 12 months again. Then we've opened up. A lot of things happen. So want to wish everybody very healthy Corona time. Stay healthy and safe, you know, and hopefully we are back racing soon. So just thank you for watching and listening. So thank you, Lee.
And hopefully, Stefan, we can get you over to Fox Hill for that reunion. Would be amazing. And we'll get the crowd there.
Well, I'm open for it. Just we need to have the right time for it. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't make any promises. I also said that to Dave. But maybe one day, don't give up your dream. Maybe one day it comes in reality. So
exactly, that'll be mine. So we'll keep that dream going.
Good.
Thanks, Stefan. Awesome.
Bye-bye,
Speak to you
everyone.
soon. Thanks so very much, Stefan. Thank you. Brilliant. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Wow. How cool was that, people? I don't care what my mum says. That was very cool. What a guy. Cheers to everyone that come on tonight. Massively appreciated. That was unbelievable personally as well for myself. What a legend that man is. What a rider. Let's just go for a few comments at the end there. To get 2.5 hours with a 10 times world champion. Wow. You can't get a bigger smile. Buzzing. Amazing. Shane Millward. Thanks, Stefan and yourself, Lee. Huge Simi. Huge thank you to Lee and Stefan. What your time this evening. Such a great interview. All the best. I don't feel like I could have got anything else in there, could you? With all you guys' questions and a few I added in. It was absolutely brilliant. We crammed in so much in that 2.5 hours. Wow, that time just flew by. Amazing. Ben Masters, that was ace. Thanks, Ben, for you guys. Hope you boys were all tuning in again. The Somerset Schoolboy Somerset lads. Richard, fantastic, thanks. Richard Myron's fantastic. Well done again. Without a doubt. Thanks, Stuart Flockhart, legend Scottish man. Thanks, mate. Sounds like we need to try the vodka. I haven't tried the vodka yet. Definitely tried the gin, which I'm into now quite a bit, which is a bit dodgy because I'm not the greatest of drinkers. So, Andy Parrott, well done, Lee. Thank you very much. Really appreciate everyone coming on tonight. It was awesome. There were so many of you on at all times, so that's great. And hopefully anyone that did miss this, unfortunately, live, will get to, obviously I'll share it all so you can see the whole recording, but 2.5 hours with Stefan Everts. Wow. Buzz Goldie, great interview, Lee. Good job. Thanks, Stefan. Hub Gerlins, all the way from Holland. Love the Dutch guys, Hub. Thanks, Lee. Great interview with Stefan. David Campbell, another Scottish legend. We're getting a few Scottish legends on tonight. When are we going to get Sordy on as well? There's quite a lot of Scottish legends. David Campbell, good one, Lee. Ledge. John King, thanks, John. Managed to get your question in as well, John. See that? Richard Myron's brilliant job, Lee. Thanks. Mega cool. Awesome interview, John Stanton. Hope you appreciated the shout out as well. We've got a few shout outs for a few people that asked for them. Gav Richmond, Stanton. Just trying to remember who was the guy that had his missus shout out for as well. That was pretty cool. Paul Silver on YouTube. Lee, that was class, mate. The best ever, without a doubt. Paul Maynard gives me the thumbs up. Cheers, Lee. Mike Turner, loved it. From LRS Mech Suspension. You should have had a shot of 72 before each question. Oh, definitely not, Paul. Cheers, Lee. Mike Turner. Brilliant interview, Lee. Loved it. Larry Kessel. Thanks ever so much, people. Great job, Lee. Oh, we all have British. So many great memories. I'll just get the shirt. I don't know if you can all see. There's I'll just get this all over to you guys. Obviously, there's the Jeremy McGrath. Look, you can see all the very fine details. Hot Wheels on there. The AMA badge. I don't know if you can see that better like that. And then I've got, there you go. So I've only got about 30 odd tickets left for the McGrath shirt. You can see the signature, look down the number 1. Nice silver pen right down the number 1 of McGrath. So obviously I've got that still, guys. I've only got about 30 tickets left on the McGrath shirt. So as soon as that's done, I'll do a live draw on the winner. With the old, I'm going to get it right, the old tombola, the new tombola with the balls. So we'll do that. You've seen that how it goes now. So hopefully not be as nervous a second time. So, and then obviously here we go. This will be the new one that's going up from tonight. Well, I'll do it tomorrow from tomorrow. Even a little stain on the front of there from Western. And as you see on the video, Mr. Stefan Everts, you can see there, look, his name with the bow into the Belgian flag. Has he explained all the countries, how many times he won in each country, put into the 72. I think you'll find the signature he did on the side there. Hopefully you can see the signature. And I did send that to him on WhatsApp as well, and he confirmed it was definitely his shirt and his signature. So I will get this competition out for Stefan's shirt. Can't believe I've actually got it in my possession. It's going to be going back out. Ooh. That'll be a killer, that one. But yeah, never had any memorabilia of any sort of anything like that. Ben, we'll sort out the bank details out for that, mate. Yep, no worries. So yeah, And I've also spoke to my man that's helping me out with the prizes. The silent man behind the two of us. We've been speaking. He's on holiday at the minute, but when he gets back, we've got plans. And to be fair, when I was talking about the reunion before, it's obviously a bit of a pipe dream and stuff, but it will definitely happen. And we've had a couple of good chats about that. And we're definitely going to, obviously, fingers crossed with everything next year with the virus. Hopefully, everything can get sorted out into the new year, so everyone can sort of start getting back to some normality with the racing and everything pretty much in the whole country. But yeah, we have got plans for that, big plans for that, and we're definitely going to be looking at a BSMA reunion meeting, try and get as many as the ex-pros together that obviously always been at BSMA at some point in their career as youth riders and stuff. So Stuart Flockhart, put me down for a number on both shirts, dude. Awesome. Thanks ever so much, Stu. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you after this then. We'll have a chat on Facebook message or something. Then maybe I can hook your number up as well, Stuart. Need a couple of Scottish legends in my phone book. So that'd be cool to start with you, Stuart. Then I'll get David Campbell's number, and then I'll obviously, Stu, I don't mind going up Fox Hill looking for your old Pro Grip goggles on the first corner at Fox Hill. I'll go and I'll check it out for you. Would you a little visit at Fox Hill? Billy Hazel, brilliantly. What a man he is. True gentleman. Yes, he is. Very cool. Would be great if we could get some retro shirts up for auction, Lee. Yeah. Had to go out for the missus' birthday. Gary. Oh, it's a bummer, mate. So missed most of the live. Can't wait to see all of it. Great job, Lee. Thanks, mate. Gary, trust me, it was brilliant. Nothing to do with me. Stefan, what a man. And we managed to get so much detail and thorough information out of him through all your guys' brilliant questions. So thanks ever so much, everyone, bringing them all on. Everyone's coming in saying absolutely megally. What a legend Stefan is, and such a life story. Yeah, even got Harry, his dad, Harry Everts, I interviewed last week, came on and mentioned about the Suzuki thing with Stefan. That was really cool. I was just like looking down all your comments, and I was like, "Oh, Harry's come up." I do that with all you guys anyway. I try to, and then also, thanks everyone. It looks like a lot of you have now all sort of pretty much registered with the StreamYard. There wasn't so many, nowhere near as many ones like that with the plain things you can't see the name. It's just a bit of a bummer. So when you get it, look, when you give StreamYard the all clear on your Facebook, it just comes up like that, so I can see your name, quote it straight away, interact with you much better like that. Look, we are, mate, Ben Masters, like that. Dan Merrifield, great job, Lee. Great interview with the GOAT. Pat Stott, thanks, Lee. I have too many questions. I'll share next time. No worries, Pat. I got quite a few in of yours. Hopefully you noticed. He loves your 90s page, obviously. He mentioned that as well, so that's cool. Laney, my missus, have you moved Jack's flask? No, I haven't, Laney. I didn't move Jack's flask. It was where it was last, underneath the stairs somewhere. Amazingly well done. What a top job, Stefan. What a top man, Stefan. What a legend. I can't believe. Wow. 2.5 hours with Stefan Everts. Who would ever think that, eh? And then actually involved with me as well with his S72 gin. Sounds like I need to get into the UK importer. Wonder if I could get into that. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? UK importer. Does that mean you have to sell it or you can just drink it? I can't even manage a couple of glasses, to be fair. So that would definitely wouldn't do that. From YouTube, the linesman, great evening, Lee, superb. Thanks very much. Got quite an interactive stuff from YouTube tonight as well, so that was cool. So, right, I'm going to go off now. What's that? 2 hours and 38 minutes. Not had the tea yet. Mrs. has got a sausage casserole, a plain Jane one for a weirdo like me. So I'm going to get to go and have some of that. Try and soak up some of me S72 gin. Cheers to Stefan. Thanks everyone for all their interaction. As I said, there's only got about 30 tickets left for the McGrath shirt, and then I'll put it out there on live. Hopefully, even if we could get a little surge of people getting the last few tickets of McGrath, might be able to draw it at the weekend. Would be really cool. I'll do it on the live again, the old tombola, bring the winner out, and then we'll do like a proper, recorded delivery, etc. So it's all done properly to get it to you guys wherever that is in the world. And now, obviously, the Stefan Everts one's going to be up as well. So you can start messaging me. I'll write out. I'll write out to. Actually, we'll do it because I've changed the McGrath one from 150 to 100. We're going to do 100 for the Stefan Everts shirt. Only 100 tickets. So yeah, message me for that. This time I'll just do 1 to 100 in the numbers. Where the last one with the McGrath one, so you can still ask for any number from 1 to 150, but as soon as I've sold 100, we're going to draw it. So it doesn't matter what number that is in the 150, we'll pick out the specific balls, ready to do it. Mark Taylor, fantastic. From Brazil, Renito Bassato, hope I pronounced that right. Brazilian Stefan Everts, hashtag 72. See, no matter where you are in the world, you can just get the hashtag 72. Absolutely megally. What a legend Stefan is, and such a life story. I'm not sure who said that. Hopefully you can hook up that StreamYard for next time, whoever said that, but thank you very much. It's nice to be able to quote the names and speak to specific people by their name and everything. So hopefully, but most of you, looks like 3/4 of everyone that come on tonight pretty much there's a couple there look cool, mega that hasn't come up, but then they come up like that. Look, is how we want it. John King, David Campbell, Hub Gerlins. That's how we want it, to people to come up with your name. Stewie Flockhart and stuff like that. That's how we want it. So hopefully everyone will have that all crap soon. So free weekend, I think. Give the missus some time this weekend, and we've got loads lined up. I'm going to be speaking to Sean Simpson, Jake Nichols. I spoke to, hopefully getting in Martin Laram on next week. And I spoke to the man as well, Jamie Dobb, who's going to do a live as well. So hopefully sort all that around firework night, either side. Better not do it on firework night, had we? So hopefully do as many as I can around that. So yeah, I'll keep you all in things. So don't forget, only about 30 tickets left for the Jeremy McGrath shirt, and I'll start a new thing with 100 tickets for the Stefan Everts Western Supermare Beach Race winning shirt. Confirmed by your man tonight live on video that it was his and his signature. So it's all cool. Paul Maynard, save me, hashtag 77 for the Stefan shirt, please. Okay, mate. Definitely message me though on Facebook. Anyone that's already saying put me down for a ticket or whatever, just please message me on Facebook, because obviously quite a lot of you have said that already. I don't want to forget anything or anyone. So please Facebook message me with a number you want and how many tickets you want for the Stefan shirt, and anyone that wants to get the Romanian shirts for the McGrath shirt. All right. Okay, people. Good night and God bless. And as my old man, bless him, used to say, I've got to finish this on every time now. It's important. No, I nearly messed it up then. Wow. I hope it wouldn't have anything to do with that. Right, I'll start again. The saying is, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao bella to you all. Good night, God bless. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for everyone's for coming in tonight. Cheers.